How are you, girls? I hope you've been fine. Um, Before we begin, please let me know if you can hear me very well and if the sound is good at your end to make sure that the connection is good. Okay, very good. Let's start then. So last week we covered a review for from lessons 15 to 20. Today we'll continue from 21 to 24. These were the lessons taken when we started online classes. We'll do the grammar review, and if we have enough time, I'll do the phonics review. If not, I already uploaded the sheet with its answer key on Classera, okay? So let's start. Okay, sorry. So first question that was about comparative and superlative adjectives and adverbs, okay? As we go over the questions, just like we did last week, I'll review the answers and explain the lesson, okay? So, first question. What kind of adjective or adverb is the phrase more carefully? Look here. Ellis paint more carefully than Avery. So, I have more carefully here. I didn't tell you if it's an adjective or an adverb, and I also didn't tell you if this is comparative or superlative, and I want you to decide. You've got A, superlative adverb, B, comparative adverb, and C, superlative adjective, or D, comparative adjective. Let's start. How do I know which is which? Okay, Ghala, you started and you said the answer is D. Okay, let's take it bit by bit, girls. Um, First of all, uh, if a word ends with ly, usually it's an adverb because most adverbs end in ly, as you can see here. And adverbs modify verbs, okay? Even if I'm not sure this is an adverb or an adjective, let's read the sentence here. You've got she paint more carefully. Does carefully here modify the subject or the verb? It modifies the verb, paint, okay? Which indicates that this is an adverb. That's the first thing, okay? So, since this is an adverb, I've already known part of the answer. Now let's take a look at the other part. Is that comparative or superlative? How do I know? How do I know? Look at the sentence here. You've got more and you've got than. In comparative form, I always form it by saying more and then adjective or adverb and then than. And this happens if the adjective or the adverb is a long one. Okay? So as you can see here, I've got Illis paint more carefully than Avery. I've got a word that ends with ly. We've already established that it's an adverb. I've got in the sentence more and than because I'm comparing the way Illis paints with the way Avery paints. So I'm comparing between two things here. So this means what's the answer now? A, B, C, or D? Girls, stop discussing number of girls attending the lesson and focus on the answer. Gala, you're not focusing. I just explained something. No, the answer is not D. So focus again, okay? The rest of you try, girls. What's the answer? Okay, Gala, you changed your answer and you said B. Sarah, you said A. Sarah Muhammad, you're saying B. Okay. For those who said A, this means you're choosing superlative adverb. Superlative girls, if I'm comparing more than two things, like when I say she's the best girl in class, I'm comparing her to the rest of the girls. I'm the tallest one, okay? This is superlative. But did I compare more than two things here or just two things? It's two things only, and that's comparative form. Okay, so the right answer, girls, is B, comparative adverb. So those who said A and C and D, do you now understand what's the answer? Why did I choose B? Excellent, Sulaf. Very good. Okay, very good. The others who said different answers, do you understand, girls? Let me remind you again. Superlative, if I'm comparing more than two things. Comparative, if I'm comparing two things only, okay? Each form has its own rules, okay? How would I know them? I'll cover them question by question now, okay? If you have any question before I move on, let me know now. Okay, let's move on. Next question here. Again, what kind of adjective or adverb is the word hardest in the sentence below? I didn't tell you if it's an adjective or an adverb, and I didn't tell you if it's a comparative or superlative. How do I know? Let's read. Jamal is the hardest worker of all the students. So take a look here, read it carefully. What do you think? A, B, C, or D? Is it an adjective or an adverb? And is it a comparative or superlative? Okay, Ghala, you changed your answer. Sarah, you're saying A. Let me see the rest and then I'll explain in details. Sulaf, you're saying C. Excellent, Sulaf. Ghala, think again, Ghala. A and C are the same. B and D are the same. No, Dai, no, because pay attention. A superlative adverb, but C it's superlative adjective. There's a big difference between adverbs and adjectives. Again, girls, what's an adverb and what's an adjective? Even though I explained that last week. An adjective is a word that modifies a noun, okay? Like when I say the girl is beautiful. Beautiful is an adjective that modified the noun girl, okay? An adverb is a word that modifies the verb, okay? Like when I say he paints beautifully. Beautifully here is an adverb that explains to me how he paints. Okay, so let's try to explain this question here. Okay, take a look, girls, take a look. First question you ask yourself is hardest. Is it an adjective or an adverb? What does hardest modify here? Who is the hardest one? It's Jamal or the worker, right? So here it modified a noun, which means it's an adjective. That's the first thing, okay? Second thing, I don't know if it's a comparative or superlative. Am I comparing two things or more than two things? Well, I'm comparing Jamal to the rest of the students, which means more than two. Even if I'm not sure, read the form, the structure of the sentence. I've got the hardest, which means I've got the adjective and it ends with est. And this is the superlative form, girls, okay? So, first thing, adjectives modify nouns. Second thing, the common rule for forming the superlative form is that I use the, then the adjective, and I must add est at the end of the adjective, okay? So, after explaining this, take a look at the choices again and let me know which one is the right answer, A, B, C, or D. Okay, thank you, Ghala. Um, uh, Go back to what, Sulaf? You want the slide before this one? You mean the question itself? Okay. Okay, Sulaf, so this is the question alone. Okay. And you're welcome, Sulaf. And now this is the explanation we were talking about. And now, girls, you're saying C. Sarah, you said C. Excellent. Yes, girls. So just because we just said now that it's an adjective And this is superlative form, so I'm choosing C. Do you understand this one, girls? Okay, very good. Let's move on. Next question, girls. Again, I didn't tell you if it's an adjective or an adverb. You have to decide. And again, I'm not telling you if it's a superlative or comparative. You have to decide. Let's read it here. I have Marcus sings the most joyfully of all the children. Okay? Again, you all went for C, all of you. Girls, take a minute to think. Excellent, Dai. Yes, that's the right answer, and Ella as well. Girls, remember what I said? I said that. Let's take a look at the explanation here. Most adverbs end with ly, and I've got joyfully. Joyfully ends with ly, which indicates it's an adverb. Even if I'm not sure, take a look, girls. What does joyfully describe here? Joyfully describe sings, the way he sings, okay? Which means it's an adverb because I modified a verb, okay? Another thing, which is ending in ly. So now we know that joyfully is an adverb. Now take a look at the structure of the sentence. Take a look at the form, okay? I said the most joyfully. Usually, girls, I form the superlative form by saying the, and then I put the adjective and I put est, or I put the adverb and I put est. But it doesn't go that way all the time. If I've got a long word, uh, okay, Sarah, it's okay. Check your connection. If I've got a long word, a long adjective, or a long adverb, I'm going to have to use most, and I don't add est at all at the end, okay? After I'm done, girls, you need to go back and check the video and the presentation for comparative and superlative form because it appears that you've all forgotten it somehow, okay? So as you can see here, because I have the most and I have a word that ends with ly, I'm going to choose now the answer A, as you've said. So the answer is a superlative adverb. Okay? Do you understand this one now? Okay, very good. Very good. So let's move on. Next question. Again, same thing. I'm not sure if it's an adverb or an adjective. I don't know if it's a comparative or superlative. I have the brown puppy is smaller than the black puppy. And I'm asking you about the word smaller. So is it superlative adverb, comparative adverb, superlative adjective, or comparative adjective? Again, girls, first ask yourself, smaller, what is it modifying? Is it modifying the verb or the noun? That's the first thing. That will identify if it's an adjective or an adverb. Okay? And then ask yourself, am I comparing two things or more than two things? Okay? I've read your answers and no, it's not C and it's not A. So let's take a look. Okay? First of all, smaller is modifying or describing the brown puppy. Puppy is a noun, it's an animal. So this is an adjective, it's not an adverb. Okay, that's the first thing, it's an adjective. Another thing, girls, you can see that I'm comparing the brown puppy to the black puppy, which means two things only. Okay, also, you can see that I have the adjective ending with er and then I use than. All of these are clues for you that this is the comparative form. So yes, excellent. If you said that the answer is D, excellent girls. The answer is D now. How do I know again? Because first of all, smaller is modifying the noun puppy. So it's an adjective. Second thing, I'm comparing two things, the brown puppy and the black puppy. Okay? Another thing is because I used the rule for forming a comparative form, which is adjective that ends with er, and then I use than. Okay, girls? So again, go back and check after I'm done the presentation that I'm talking about, the comparative and superlative form. Okay, let's move on. Next question now. So yeah, the answer is D as we've said. Next question. What change should be made in the sentence below? He has a most interesting story to tell than I do. This kind of questions might be a little bit tricky for you. So let's explain it and so that we can decide which one to choose. Okay? Um, First thing, you must see what am I comparing? Well, I'm comparing his stores to my stores. He and then I, which means I'm comparing two things. If I'm comparing two things, it means I have to use the comparative form, okay? Comparative form is usually made by adding er at the end of adjective and then using than, okay? But that happens only if the adjective is a short one. What if I have a long word as interesting? I can never ever say interestinger, right? I cannot even say it, which means I have to use more adjective and then than. So let's read again. You have, he has a most interesting story to tell than I do. This is wrong. I've got than. I'm comparing two things. I must use the comparative form. Excellent, girls. So just like you've all said, the answer is A. Most is wrong. Most is for superlative, and I'm not using superlative. I wanted comparative. So the answer is A. Change most to more. Excellent, girls. Welcome, Lamia. I'm happy that you joined us now. Okay. So, Lamia, we've been revising the grammar review. This is the sheet that I will upload tomorrow. Today is for phonics review. But anyway, the questions that you missed, you can check the sheets tomorrow and also check the recording today. But the recording is always uploaded very late because it takes time, okay? I'll move on to the next question now. So just pay attention with us. Next question. What change should be made in the sentence below? Uncle Steve makes the most tasty apple pie in the world. Should I change most tasty to tastier, most tasty to tastiest, most tasty to more tasty, or no change? Yes, girls, excellent. The answer is B, as you've said. Very good. Why is the answer B? First thing, girls, if I want to form uh no, Sarah, when you got disconnected and then you came back again, I was only discussing the same thing I was discussing, so it's okay. And you can check the recording at the end of the day to see if you missed anything. Anyway, girls, so why is the answer B as you're all saying? Superlative form, as I said, is formed by using the adjective and I add est at the end, okay? If the adjective is a short one, as you can see here, if it's made of one syllable or two, I put est at the end of the adjective. But if it's a long word, it's multi-syllabic word, it has more than two syllables, I cannot add est at the end. I have to use most before. The most interesting, the most uh, um, entertaining, and so on. Okay. So here I've got tasty. Tasty is made of two syllables, right? So I don't have to use the most before it. It's just like you said, the answer is B because it doesn't follow the rule like this. I form it by adding est at the end. Okay? Ghala, do you have a question? Okay then. So the right answer, as you've all said, is B. Again, because it's a short adjective And if it's short, I don't use most. It's wrong. I have to add est at the end. And if you've noticed, girls, the y didn't stick here. The y was removed, and I added it became I, and then I added est. Okay? It's okay, Ghala. Let's move on to the next question. Which sentence is written correctly? Now I moved on to the negatives lesson. That was a very easy one. You just have to read carefully to decide which one is the correct one. I see that Ala has already answered. Let's wait for the rest. Okay, and Ghala as well. Sarah and Lamia and Dai. Okay. And Fatima, excellent. Maryam, excellent, Maryam. And Sulaf, excellent. Excellent, girls. Okay, you all agree on A, and that's the right answer. Why? Remember, girls, when we said in negatives, I cannot have two negatives. I cannot have two words that represent negative in the same sentence. Double negatives is not acceptable in English, okay? It would be grammatically incorrect. So I must look for a sentence that has only one negative word, okay? So as you can see, the only one that had only one negative word was A, okay? Why aren't the dishes on the table? Because as you know, N apostrophe T is like the short form for not. It's a contraction for negative. The rest had other negative words as well. So the right answer is A, as you've said. Excellent, Ines. Next question. Which sentence is written correctly? This is all about double negatives, by the way. Is it A, Drew can't never find his keys? B, Drew can never find his keys? Uh, okay, excellent. Lamia, Julnar, Fatima, Zara, Ghala, and Maryam. Maryam, you said, who said A? Ella, Ella, think again. Okay, Yara, you're saying B, excellent. Okay, now Ella, excellent. Okay, those who said A, think again, girls. Let's take a look at this one. Drew can't never. I've got the contraction for not and I've got never. Two negatives, so it's wrong, okay? For C here, I've got not and never. For D, I've got not and never again. So all of these are having double negatives and it's not acceptable. It's wrong, which means I have to choose B. Why B? Because it had only one negative, which is never. Drew can never find his keys. Okay. Take care of that, girls. Yes, excellent. It's a very easy lesson, but we always make mistakes in it if we like read fast. You have to read carefully, okay? Next question. Ghala, don't worry, I always add time, so I'm going to add time. Which sentence is written correctly? I know nothing about raising no horses. I never know nothing about raising horses. I don't know anything. Okay, Lamia. Once is okay. Ines and Ghala. Okay, girls, just once is okay. Just type your answer once. Oh my God. Okay. Fine. You're spamming my chat here. Okay. Fine. Yes, girls. Okay. Thank you. Excellent. The right answer is C. Why? Because the rest had double negatives, as you can see here. Nothing, no, never, nothing, contraction of not and nothing. But C was the only one who had one negative, don't. And instead of nothing, we used a positive word, which means that the right answer is C. Oh, I miss you too. I miss you a lot. I miss having you in class. I miss talking to you, and I miss listening to your conversations and telling you to be quiet and listen and hey, come on, and so on. Okay. Excellent, Julinar. Very good. Yes, the answer would be C. Oh, I love you too. Okay, girls, so I added extra time. Let's move on to the next question. Again, still double negatives. Which one is written correctly? A, B, C, or D? Take a look here, read carefully, and think before I move on, okay? Okay, Lamia started here. Let's see for the rest. Ella, read carefully, Ella. Okay, Yara, just once is enough, please. Okay, oh my God, you're back to this again. Once is enough, girls. Okay, and yes, excellent, girls. The right answer is D. So, why? Again, because the rest had double negatives except for D. Only one, which was not. Okay, excellent, girls. Let's move on. Excellent, Lamia. Very good. It's okay. Okay, girls, let's move on. Again, still double negatives. Which one is written correctly? A, B, C, or D? Okay. Okay, very good. Very good. Let me see the rest. Okay. Yes. Okay, girls, please, just once because like this, the chat is moving so fast and I will not be able to see the rest, okay? Anyway, let's check here. As you've said, the right answer is A because the rest had double negatives. So as you can see, it's a very, very easy lesson. Now let's move on. We'll start the questions related to the punctuation lesson. Um, and the quotation marks, okay? Question 12 here. As you can see, I'm asking about which one is written correctly. You have to read it carefully and check for the quotation marks, how they are used and how they are written. Some said B, some said C, and I would have to agree with the ones who said C. Why, girls? Let's explain. As you can see, girls, quotations must be put between quotation marks. What was said must be put between quotation marks. That's the first thing, okay? So if I have he said, she said, he asked, whatever it is, it's not part of the quotation, so do not involve them inside the quotation marks. Those who said B, as you can see, that would be wrong. It means that someone said, we can solve this problem, said Mrs. Yang. This is what all they have said, which is wrong. That's not all they have said, okay? The quotation was only, we can solve this problem. That's the first thing. Second thing, the comma is important. If the quotation, girls, if I start with the quotation, as you can see here, this was a slide from the lesson. If I start with the quotation, I must end it with a comma, not a period. That's the only time I will exchange the period with a comma here, okay? And then I will close the quotation, which means the comma must be inside the quotation mark, not outside. That's why I cannot choose D, even though in D you have the quotation surrounded by quotation marks, as you can see here, but the comma is outside the quotation marks. This is wrong. The comma must be inside, as you can see in C here, okay? That's why I'm going to choose C as the answer. Do you understand, girls? Very good. Excellent. Let's move on. Which one is written correctly? That was the last grammar lesson for commas. By the way, the rest of the questions, not all of them, but they are all about punctuation. Okay, you're all saying C, and yes, I must agree with you because the correct answer is C. Why, girls? Because there is something in English called compound sentences. Compound sentences are formed when I join two complete sentences together, as you can see here, using one of the coordinating conjunctions here, or what we might call fanboys in English. Fanboys because, as you can see, if I take the first letter of each coordinating conjunction, I would make the word fanboys, okay? So it's a rule in English for punctuation that before I write the coordinating conjunction, I must put a comma before, okay, as you can see here. So that makes C the only correct answer because I've got a comma before and, okay? The comma cannot be after, and I cannot join using and without any comma at all. So the right answer is C, as you can see. Let's move on. Back to quotations again because they are all about punctuation. Which one is written correctly, girls? A, B, C, or D? Okay, some said A, some said D. Let me see the rest. How many questions, Fatima? There are 19 questions. Okay, Limar said A. Girls, again, remember, I said the quotation or what was said is always surrounded with quotation marks, but anything else must be outside the quotation marks. Okay? So what was said, girls? Was it Lixie whispered, I can't find my lunch money, all of this? Or was it only I can't find my lunch money? Think carefully, girls. Before you choose, think, please, and read carefully. As you've said, yes, the right answer is D. Okay? Why, girls? As you can see, the quotation was I can't find my lunch money. That's why it's surrounded with quotation marks. The rest are not correct because I used Lixie whispered as part of the quotation, which is wrong. Another thing, when the quotation is at the end, when I don't start with it, it means I have to say or to separate Lexi whispered or Lexi said or Lexi asked or whatever I have here uh, from the quotation with a comma. Here, see, I've put a comma and then I put the quotation marks. Okay? It's important, girls, take care of the punctuation marks. While you're choosing in such questions, if you do not read carefully, or if you like go fast and rush into choosing the right answer, you'll make mistakes because your eyes might miss something. So you have to read carefully. As you can see, it's important to look where's the comma, where are the quotation marks, where's the period, where's the question mark, and so on. Okay? So as you've said, the right answer is D. Let's move on. Back again to compound sentences and using commas. Which one do you think is the correct one? A, B, C, or D? Okay. Excellent, girls. Thank you. Yes, it's C. Very good. Why? Again, let me remind you, compound sentences are formed by joining two complete sentences and using a comma, then the coordinating conjunction. So as you can see, C is the correct answer. Okay, moving on. Next question, girls. Which one is correct? A, B, C, or D? Darnell explained, a lion runs fast, but a cheetah runs even faster. Which one do you think? Okay, let me see the rest. Yes, excellent girls. Thank you. The correct answer is A. Why? Again, like I said, I've got two things here. I've got quotations, which means I must take care. Where's the quotation? I must use quotation marks. I must surround it with quotation marks. And the comma before the quotation and the period at the end here because the quotation is at the end. I also have a compound sentence in the quotation, so I must use a comma in the middle before the coordinating conjunction. So as you can see, two lessons combined together here, the comma and the quotation marks, which means I have to choose A as the answer. Okay, I think now it's very easy because now we know where to look. We have to look for the commas. We must know what's the quotation and what's not. And I must take care what's surrounded with quotation marks and what's not. Okay, let's move on then. Okay, I'm back to comparative and superlative now. So, which word or words best complete the sentence below? Emma is the what person in her family? Youngest, younger, most young, or more young? Which one do you think, girls? Okay, I see that you all agree on A, and which means I have to agree with you since you all agree. Why, girls, did I have to choose youngest? If I don't know, if I'm not sure, well, remember, superlative form is made because I use the adjective and I add est if it's a short adjective, or the most and then the adjective if it's a long one, okay? Also, I'm comparing Emma to the rest of her family, which means this is more than two, which means that's the superlative form. So I'm forced to choose excellent. Yes, Lamia, very good, excellent. Which means I'm forced to choose A. A would be the only answer. Excellent, girls. Yes, I have to read first and think carefully. Very good. So the only answer is A, as you've said. Okay? It should be easy. Okay? So if you read carefully, like we've said, think and go back to all the rules we've discussed, you'll see that it's an easy one. Yes, Mariam, excellent. The answer is A. Next question. When did you feel the during the flight? Is it A, nervouser, B, nervousest, and take care I cannot even read A and B, okay? C, most nervous, or D, more nervous? And again, I see that you agree on C. And again, I will say that I will agree with you and excellent girls. No, Lamia, why? Lamia, look, I have here the before space. And if it's comparative, I cannot choose more. Sorry, if it's comparative, I cannot say the more nervous. Okay? The answer would be C, the most nervous, because I have the. And superlative form is formed when I say the adjective and then est or the most adjective. Okay? That's if I'm talking about the form. Okay. And if I want to know how many things I'm comparing, I'm asking you about the time you felt during the flight compared to all the rest of the times, okay, or to the other times. So, which means again more than two things. Okay, Lamia? Okay, very good. So, girls, again, read carefully before you choose, and the answer would be C. Okay, excellent. Let's move on. That's the last question in the grammar review. Which word or words best complete the sentence below? What day was the what day of the year? A, B, C, or D? And I see that you all agree on B. And excellent girls, yes. The answer is B. Again, why? Because I've got the, and I'm asking about a specific day, or you're supposed to tell me a specific day compared to the rest of the year. Okay, so that's more than two, and I've got the, this is the rule of uh, forming the superlative form. Okay, so that's it. I've got 5 minutes left, actually less than 5 minutes left. I'm done with the grammar review. So if you have any question at all, girls, related to grammar, if there is any lesson specifically that you did not understand today, let me know to answer your question. And again, as I always tell you, girls, while you're studying, if there is a problem with anything, just send me on Clasera, write in the discussion room, let your mom send me on my phone anytime you want. I'll be there to answer your questions, okay? I hope this was easy for you and I hope that you now remember all these information. I missed you. Take care of yourselves and stay safe, girls. Bye bye.